Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Shobo. Today is Thursday, July 13th, 2023, and I have a new shirt. I got my shirt. It's green. That's right. It's got green, but we can at least see the green because my green screen doesn't actually green screen out pure green, so we could actually see part of it. This was from the Summer Games Done Quick selection on the Yeti. So this one, I think it's called Ancient Mask or something along those lines. Finally arrived yesterday. It was nice. It is nice. It's a nice shirt. It's got the length. Actually has the length just like the previous one. That I like for the extra large shirts. I can fit extra large as long as it's a little bit longer, like an extra large tall, but it doesn't say that it's tall on the tags, on the tag for this one or for the previous one from Awesome Games Done Quick at the beginning of the year. That the red one with the Final Fantasy red one that has the big chocobo and Moogle on it says boom. That one was also fit very well for an extra large on me, which is always nice. It's always nice when things actually fit properly. So also yesterday, I got my brand new Sonic Pad 7-inch display for my 3D printer, as well as red filament, iron red filament, extra spool of that. So yeah, that arrived a bit later in the day, so I haven't really had a great opportunity to complete the configuration of my printer with the Sonic Pad. I have connected it. I did the stuff to install the firmware on the printer for the beginning setup. It is This thing is not straight up plug and play. It requires that you know your 3D printer's CPU and motherboard, the actual like model of CPU and motherboard. And of course, this information is only printed directly on the CPU and motherboard and nowhere else, like on the printer or on the packaging, does there have this information. So you have to flip the printer upside down, or at least on its side, and unscrew the bottom of the printer and take the bottom panel off, which for my printer required actually taking off the big entire bottom panel because there was no access panel over the motherboard to just be able to have a look at the thing. Fortunately for my version of this device, the Ender 3S1, only really needed to know the CPU and not the motherboard revision. Just the CPU. And once I was able to do that, that took a little bit of time. I got that correct information. Actually getting the firmware onto the device is really easy. That was a simple-ish process for setting up. So setting up was fine. And I got it all set up. I got the pad set up so I can do remote access on the network here. So I have it up on my browser, so I could see the status and have control over the machine, even like console access to the machine. Actually, send manual commands to it from here. The thing is, though, it's that doing the actual calibrations that this thing allows does take a lot of time. Doing calibrations takes time, and I'm thinking of switching my nozzle back to the standard 0.4 millimeter because I've had a 0.6 so that I could print faster, but with the new pad, the pad will allow much faster printing, significantly faster printing, even with the basic nozzle. So I have to think about, is it worth the trouble trying to get the 0.6 fully configured and taking hours and hours to get proper calibration on that 0.6 millimeter nozzle versus going to the 0.4 and being able to run the 0.4 at speed, at high speeds. Because the issue being that 0.6, it extrudes more volume of plastic, and my hot end can only support a certain, like, flow rate. So there's issues if you're trying to extrude faster than your extruder can extrude, right? And part of that math is, the diameter of the nozzle being 50% larger than the normal sized nozzles. Yeah, anyway, that's a thing. It also, if it's a bigger orifice, I've noticed that the plastic has a tendency to be a bit more prone to sticking to itself, especially at the beginning of a print when it does a slide across the surface on the side to prime the print head and to just extrude a couple lines at the very beginning, and then it goes over to start doing a skirt to continue its priming just around what will be printed. I've noticed oftentimes there will be gobs sticking to the nozzle as it travels from the end of that initial wipe to the beginning of that skirt. And it's been doing it for actually going from the skirt to the actual first line of the print sometimes. So, yeah, that's something I've noticed on the 0.6 that wasn't as noticeable on the 0.4. So, I think overall going back to the point 4 is going to be easier, especially since I have a few of those nozzles handy, fresh nozzles handy. It's just that if I go back to the point 4, I have to redo everything I've already done from scratch. Almost everything that I've already done from scratch for bed leveling and all sorts of other configuration stuff. It's not going to be fun, and it's going to take hours. But I think doing it just to be standard again on the nozzle will help a little, and it will increase the quality of the prints too, from being 0.6 to 0.4. It'll increase the quality a little bit. Anyway, that being said, game. I have done game. I have been doing game since the last time we met. Last time we met, I talked a lot about how I've designed my real network, and we worked on lube. We set up lube on the train network, and what else? What else did we do? We did lube, we did lime, I think, and that might have been it. That may have been it. We did ammonia and soda ash and sodium and sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid, and we got volcanic gas on the train network. So got my existing mining into trains, processed that into sulfuric acid, and set up ammonia, and set up soda ash. That's what we did last time. The soda ash is here. Yeah, we set all this up last time we met. So that's nice. I've done a few more things. Getting stuff set up on the train network that we've previously set up in the main bus, for the main bus. To that end, you can probably see now I have a rubber build. I have put plastic onto the trains, just split off from what's going onto the bus already, just keeping this infrastructure here, and setting up an updated build to get rubber. I say updated, it's just using Mark II buildings. Effectively, it's just Mark II buildings and like fresh water processing into water for this. So it's really nothing too different. It's just we're not making plastic with this. I'm still considering whether or not I want to have a specific factory that is processing and making all three of these products and providing all three onto the train network, and then when I need rubber or plastic, I would request the things, the fluids that I would need on trains. But yeah, it's also bringing in carbon monoxide to do this from the volcanic gas separation over here, because not only am I providing sulfuric acid, I'm also providing the carbon monoxide in here. So this is always going to run, because I void excess of both, even if it's full. I can technically put all of this behind a power switch that is set to cut the power when the supply tanks are full of both. I could do that. I'm not going to at the moment. So, yeah, there's that. You may have noticed when zoomed in here, I have installed and activated a couple of mods. I have installed the Merging Chests mod, as well as 3 of the 4 utilities, or all the, I think it's all the main utility mods that go with this, including, what are they? They are the unlimited mod that makes it so that you could actually set the maximum sizes to any arbitrary value on these. There is the logistics mod that lets you do this with logistics chests. I did this very specifically for the mall train station, the train station at the mall. Uh, I'll note that it only allows you to do single dimension chests with the logistics chests. It only allows size 1 chests that are arbitrarily long, or the same style, just different orientation, just this way. That is because there's no sprites for larger, and as far as I'm aware, the mod developer is actively seeking someone to specifically make sprites for this, so that you could actually have larger chests merged. So, for example, over here block, with my block of stuff here, rather than being 1 chest, it's actually 5. How big are the containers inside? They are supposed to be additive for the number of initial chests. So for something like this with 13 chests, it should be 13, the equivalent number of slots as 13 of the small logistic chests. So it says 260 slots. 260 divided by 13 is 20, and a standard one has 20 slots. So yeah, it just adds them. There is a limit in the mod settings, so it'll only add to a certain extent of 1,000. So the maximum size a merged chest can have is 1,000. And I set this to 43 by 43. Default is 42 by 42. Now the max area I didn't change at all. It's just that I needed 1 extra tile. And that's the only reason why I put in that extra mod to make it unlimited settings, because it was 1 tile off over here at iron. I've scaled my iron. Processing. Yeah, I added a little bit, and I added a dedicated gravel as well. The dedicated gravel gives me a bit. It processes a red belt of iron ore, all into gravel. It's less than a red belt of gravel out, and I only really need the gravel, I think, at my mall, and that's it. Because I'm pretty sure I only really need the gravel for, like, underground pipes or landfill. Oh, and concrete, apparently, so I will need that. I will need it for that, too. But, yeah. And the pipes, yeah, the pipe twos. And the rail. Yes, rail needs it. Unless there's... Oh yeah, there is an alternative, but that also needs gravel. So, we're always going to need gravel for the rail. Anyway, I have 4 red belts of iron ore being processed into ingots now. That was one of my larger scaling projects between streams. But you can see here, for the mining I've done for this, the additional lines, I have 1 box. I am mining all 30 of my miners into a single box that is actually 43 boxes merged into one. And yes, it says wooden chest 43 because, as it turns out, small chest 1 here, it's a wooden chest. Oh, and I have the mod that lets you the wide chest mod, the merging chest mod, that gives you the ability to have any chest merged of the ones that it's looking for. So you can merge any of the small 1x1 chests, as far as I can tell, into the bigger chests. You don't have to set it, or I don't have to set it to just 1 anymore. So yeah, it's a few mods. Is a few mods. for the merging chess mod set to add all these configurations. And yeah, it was one tile short to have this on iron. So I was like, okay. I could have looked at the large miners to see if there was effectively any difference. I think that this is about the same footprint as the large miners. For the throughput matching, but I think the large ones are actually just slightly bigger by a few tiles. So either way, I'm using the mediums. It looks better using the mediums, and the whole point of doing this with the single chest is that now I only need one mini loader on the output as opposed to a few more than that. Note that when I hover over the mini loaders that it counts each one as 2. So whatever that number is divided by 2. That's 58, so divide that by 2. We got 29, yeah. So rather than 29 mini loaders, it's 1 when doing the mining. So why do I need so much iron ingots, so many iron ingots? Well, as it turns out, I went over and I processed steel ingots. I made steel ingots, and I'm processing them into the intermediates. My steel ingots, right over here, it's making up to 20 per second. 20 per second, as far as I can tell in here. Steel. Yes, it is. It is 20. I have like 64, yeah, of these foundries with yield modules in them. The crushers crushing don't need yield modules for the mineral dust. So yeah, that's this build, and you can see it requires a few iron ingots for its output. It is about 3 to 1. You know, except I get more from the productivity, so it uses a bit less than 3 to 1, thanks to productivity. So yeah, I sort of needed a bit of iron to get even this much steel. Now, my processing of the steel intermediates, this infrastructure can use more than 20. Yeah. These 3 right here eating up the ingots, they could eat more than 20 ingots if I actually had that much. So overbuilt it a little bit. Just a little bit, but as you can see, I sort of have enough at the moment. My mall has requested everything that it needs for those, and I did add to my train stations at the mall. I added more steel. I added all the steel in here, and I have empties over here. And I've only added the steel. I can add the iron intermediates, but I think my bottlenecks at this point revolve more around aluminum intermediates, specifically motor 2s, which are being limited now, not by steel products, which I'm requesting steel here to feed the motor 2s. It's specifically the insulated wires. That's the bottleneck here. And I don't even get the insulated wires brought in because I make them somewhere in here, I think. Yeah. Right over here, I'm like making some. So the mall looks like the mall has enough of these. It's just those motor 2s don't get enough from the bus. But I sort of need all the other things from the bus. So, yeah. Yeah. Maybe I could stop this. And if I stop this, it backs it up. So that all the stuff all the plates go into, or all the rods, excuse me, go into wires, and all the wires go into insulated wires. Thing is, I would need this belt to fully back up before it actually does anything, which I think it should, if this is broken. So that'll back up now, and I'll get somewhat faster more of these motor 2s, at least until I can get some off of the train network, which we're gonna have to do at some point. Alright, outside of that, I've also made the iron intermediates up here, and I have them provided on trains. But again, even though I have this much iron processing right now into ingots, it will not be enough to fully provide enough iron for both the steel and all of the iron intermediates if the infrastructure needed to be run with 100% uptime. That being said, I've also set up mechanical prototypes at this point with all the iron and with the plastic. This is 2 per second on the mechanical prototypes, and together we will do the updated recipes for the mineral samples and the atmospheric samples, and I will need to set up at some point the electrical prototypes, but our goal is to work towards and get into chemical samples as soon as possible. But that's going to mean I will need to do quite a few other things today. And there is one other topic to talk about, and that is power. So, last time we met, I mentioned, hey, I've got geothermal from Stirling engines. I have a few more Stirling engines available to me at this point. In fact, I'm constantly getting more. I have 428 of them now, which is, no longer limiting. And also, all of my wind turbines are Mark II. Every single one. They're all Mark II now. So I've got a bunch of power available through wind. But I've also got a few Stirling engines put down. 506 times 0.8 is 404.8 megawatts of available Stirling engine power, which is a bit. I've tapped this down here for geothermal. I've tapped this for geothermal over here. Note that this doesn't really fit my array very well, so I left it. I could have shorter lines, and I could use this one. I can't really use this one, though. And up here, I've added even more of the geothermal stuffs. And then, of course, there's this. I deleted the entire solar collector array that I had previously had, and I put in my rail line going across the water here. So now there is actually a direct path from the aluminum intermediates straight down and into the mall. Made that a lot shorter rather than having to go all the way around the long way to get into here and back. So yeah, I got rid of all the steam-based solar collectors, and I've put down a new setup here that is 11 solar collectors into 2 Stirling engines and a thermal tank. And a bunch of them. And a bunch of. So each one is 0.8, so each pair is 1.6 megawatts of potential power generation times a lot. So 0.8 times 156 is a pretty good number. 124.8 megawatts off of this. And I have the infrastructure that would allow me to continue to place this down in wherever I have space to put it, essentially. Wherever I have space to put it, I could keep scaling the power just infinitely at this point from Stirling engines. Although it uses a ton of space, so I would like to improve this and not need as much space. Cough cough. I would like to not need as much space devoted to power, but getting rid of this will be supremely painful. And I also got rid of the backup generators. I got rid of the steam battery stuff over here because it's no longer required, like, at all. Okay. All that being said, it is time. We can move on and do things. There may be stuff that I didn't quite mention that I had done between streams as well, but whatever. We'll get to it eventually. Oh yes. I immediately find something else that I didn't mention. This is the voiding factory for mineral dust and excess sand, if the sand isn't done locally. Yeah, I changed it to sulfuric acid to get rid of the mineral dust. Why? Because it's supremely better speed-wise. It is exceedingly good as a means of getting rid of mineral dust. 5 flotation cell 2s will eat 30 mineral dust per second for very little sulfuric acid. For very, very little. I don't think I put it in my plan here, but yeah, it's like really small amounts of sulfuric acid overall. And I have 2 of these. So I could actually void up to 60 mineral dust per second of throughput of byproduct mineral dust in here, and process all the sludge and get that dumped in outfalls. So that's wonderful. That's actually really, really wonderful. It is technically something I could do anywhere I have access to water to dump the wastewater. I could import sulfuric acid wherever I need to get rid of the mineral dust, process the sludge into wastewater, and dump the wastewater. But I just have the centralized facility here to get rid of it because I've been putting mineral dust byproducts onto the train network and was using them. I was going to go and tweak this too for the caustic solution. I haven't done it yet, but I will need to do that because this doesn't need to exist anymore. I could, rather than importing mineral dust here, I could import limestone. I could import limestone and do crushed limestone processing of the hydrochloric acid into the calcium chloride solution and dump that directly into the water. And we did this here. So I could have this infrastructure right here taking in some limestone rather than this infrastructure with the mineral dust. And really, since I'm already doing these 2 steps, it's just this part. Just this part right here. Now, it does need a little bit of the processing of mineral dust, but that's only the mineral dust that it, makes by doing the crushing. I could actually have a separate factory providing crushed limestone and just import the crushed limestone, and then I wouldn't even need this at all in here, and just import crushed limestone, and I could dodge this part of it, this whole part of it, really, and it would just bring in that crushed limestone here and get rid of the byproduct chlorine. Just gotta dump the chlorine. It's just that all of this would need to be done all of this part would need to be done. I guess it would be done in 2 separate phases, right? I would have the limestone being crushed with byproduct mineral dust put onto a byproduct train, and then it will get voided here. All that being said, it is now time. What are we going to do today? Okay, so in order to get into chemical science, I am going to need to have several things put onto the train network that I currently don't have on the train network. Starting with what we do have ammonia, we do have lubricant, we do have sulfuric acid, we do have the iron sheets, we have the iron rods, we have steel rods, we have plastic, we have steel sheets, and we have rubber. We do not have glass, concrete, and sodium hydroxide. So I need to get these 3 things onto my train network before I can set up a factory making chemical samples. And I'm actually not going to do 5, we're doing 2. I'm going to keep all of the science production flat because the majority of techs require equal amounts of sciences. AKA, they require 1 each of most of the science. Most of the techs require just 1 each. Okay. So I have sodium hydroxide, I have concrete, and I have the glass here. I will need to make cement for the concrete, and I already have the gravel provided. Now for the glass, I said we are going to do the soda ash recipe, and that was the whole point of doing soda ash and getting lime on the train network. I don't know, did I do... I might have done the lime off screen, but we've seen lime already, so... There it is. Lime, just lime from crushed limestone. Venting the CO2. Lime is on the thing. I can tell I did this before I did the merging chess mod stuff. So. Next. Oh, it's all the way. It's all the way down here. Grab it. Grab it. There it is. Hi. Hello. So this is a very, very, very simple factory. It just needs 3 items in and 1 item out. Where shall I do this? Ideally, somewhere relatively close to all of the stuff. We will do this here. Get in the car and drive on over. And then I'll have to do some copy pasting for requester stations and all that good stuff. Fortunately, with the new mod enabled for merging chests, it makes I'm able to have tighter spacing on the requester stations. So that's nice. It's always nice. Is this all shallow? I don't know. I think it is. Stop. And build. Go, my minions! Place all that rail. I've gotten rid of that rogue signal from my blueprint. That was just from the other side. Now, I'll note that some of these have unfortunately been built. Yeah. Some of these have not been built in line with where my snapping runs, which is a little unfortunate. Just a bit unfortunate. I might have to... I think I will disable the snapping off of that particular blueprint. 52 and 52, okay. Oh, it has a thingy. I have to move the thingies. Or I could just have a copy of it with the snapping and without the snapping. Okay. Be done. Ish. Alright, where do I have a blueprint I can copy for a requester? This is good enough. Go ahead and do that. This spacing is not ideal if I were to need more throughput on my outputs, because it really only is enough space to add one on the other side, one more belt off the other side. Beyond that, I would have to convert to provider chest instead, and have robots to take things out at whatever the highest throughput I can get with the robots. But I'll stick with this for this specific factory, since I don't think that this specific factory is going to be needing more than 2 red belts of input ingredients. You know, I'm pretty sure it won't need more than 2 red belts of input ingredients. Considering we're at 1.57 and 0.7. Our soda ash at glass. Our silicon at glass. I need to make silicon, the polycrystalline silicon as well. Request lime at glass. Supply glass. Depot glass. But I need the polycrystalline silicon for a different thing, not this chemical science that I'm working on right now. I'm going to need to have access to the polycrystalline silicon on my train network. You know, the stuff that's made over here is made here. I'm going to need this on the network. Where are you? Here. Primarily so that I can build the science that needs it, the electrical prototypes. Electrical prototypes need it for the stuffs here. Good old logic circuits need it. I also need to get alumina provided in order to get capacitors, and I need sodium hydroxide for something else. Sodium hydroxide, aluminum hydroxide for something else. Yeah, what did I need the hydroxide for? It was something. Oh, it's the ingots. It's the polycrystalline, isn't it? Where are you? Oh no, it's the cement. That's what needs it. Oh boy, we need that today. Yeah, we'll need that for this science, chem science, because we need the cement, or we need the concrete, and the concrete needs cement, and cement needs hydroxide. Oh boy. Back to glass. Bring in the soda ash. That's here. Bring in the silica. And the lime. And then 16 of this. I'll do this arrangement. Ta-da! Output belt. Double input belt. Ta-da! Oh boy, we has Ali. We has an Ali. Hello, Ali. Yes, yes, big boy. Big Ali. Big Ali is here. Alright. There's our kitty. There's the kitty. That can actually... Could actually just get copied as is, but I'm just gonna grab all of it with doohickey. And to do the pasting again. And that should be that. Just gotta get the power line hooked up. And I gotta get the supply thingy. Right, I should get rid of all of this. It's just not really necessary. The, having a lot of these, yes, does speed up the train throughput, but do I really need the train throughput right now? Nah. Nah? I think nah. Nah. Okay, glass. Beautiful glass. That is glass. Done, you know, ideally more efficiently with the more advanced recipe. I haven't actually checked if it's genuinely more efficient, but oh well. That's just the way of things. And now we have a straight. I will not need that straight, I would hope, but it's there. Okay, next. I need to get sodium, the aluminum hydroxide on the network, or make it local. How much stuff uses aluminum hydroxide as aluminum hydroxide? The answer is nothing. Outside of alumina. I'm also going to need an alumina setup. And I'll need carbide provided too, but there's not really a good way of making like pure carbide. And it's only really used for infrastructure, like repair packs and small miner 2s. You can reprocess the carbide, but you can't really reprocess the ingots into additional carbide. Carbide is pretty much always a byproduct, which sucks. which sucks. That loops. Yeah, there's not really a good way. You'll just have to pull off carbide from your aluminum and then pray. And then pray that you'll have enough for your infrastructure. Because there is just no way of getting the carbide consistently. Alright, well, we'll do this as this off of an input bauxite and an output mineral dust. Clearly, we'll need to have some output of something here. Oh yeah, the sand is also a byproduct. There's enough here to do this local, since I also need to be here to do the sludge processing. Hello? Oh, it's already there. You into that. I think that's it. Yes. So I'm only making 2.5 cement because it's 7.2 lime, which is a bit of lime. I don't know if you realize that's a bit of lime. I'm doing this here. I'm doing this here, and then I don't even have to do the output of the mineral dust because I could just run it. I can just run it there. And the sand. I don't even have to do the sand either. All that infrastructure will exist right next to me. It'll mean I'll need it if I copy this somewhere else, but there's going to be differences. By the time I need more, I should ideally have access to other recipes that would necessitate rebuilding anyway. Because I think there's another cement recipe. Cement. Yes, there is another cement recipe that uses soda ash. What's this? Okay. And iron oxide. And aluminum hydroxide. And silica. And gypsum. And lime. To make 16. Bunch of stuff. Bunches and bunches. Anyway, this should be a relatively simple factory by building this here. I'll need the lime again. I'll need the silica. And I'll need caustic solution. Which I could just run a pipe up on that, but I'll bring it in by train anyway. Yeah, it's all the way down here. I'd have to run the pipe pretty far. Alright, then this time I will need to have how many solids in? 2? 3. Bauxite, lime, silica. And then I need another one for the caustic. That should be it. also, yeah, clear the extras. I do need to. I am limited on my mini loaders. That is unfortunately not something that I just have infinite of available to me at all times. It takes a while. It takes a while. Alright, request caustic at cement. Request lime at cement. Request silica at cement. And request bauxite at cement. Supply cement. Depot cement. Get that those requests set up. There we go. Ta-da! Oh boy. Very much looking forward to getting better furnaces that allow me to have 2 modules in them. Cough, cough. Hack, wheeze. I think that's it. Because I'll run the sludge just down. There'll be a sand as well, so let me pull that down. So this clears sand. This processes sludge. This will process mineral dust. Mineral dust from gravel. Raise that up a tile. Crushed bauxite, right. Sand. Right. Okay. Not okay. Get the car out of the way. Further out of the way. And then 2 belts in. One belt out. Gonna be tight on inserters. Okay, supply chest. Same as before, just flipped. And that, as they say, is that. I just need a delivery of lime. Which, yeah, that's just moving. Why is the back not... What? Are you not properly connected up here? I might be requesting too much stuff. Hold up. Hold on. How much are you requesting? 440. Yeah, that makes sense. Car. Get in car. Get in vehicle. Is there anything else requesting lime? Just these 2. $4K. Weird. That's odd. Oh, I see the problem. Yeah, it would help if the loaders were moving in the same direction. That would help a little bit, I think. I'm pretty sure that would help a bit. So now the lime is coming, and then I'll have the cement. Glorious cement, and I'm realizing I didn't set up the glass. This will be the cement. Okay. Oh, right, with this stuff, it should be lower. With ores, it needs to be lower, because the stack size is different. It's just going to be perpetually bringing in trains when it doesn't need to, unless I make the box bigger. Which I could do. Which is doable. I just have to unmerge and then merge everything, and then it's a 13 by 2. And then it would hold double. I think it's overall just fine the way it is. Interesting that the spot the wire hooks up to is different with this different sprite. Ah, I'm stuck. Okay, I'm unstuck. Right, cement. Supply. Depot. Full cargo. Not empty cargo. Full cargo. Go. Be free! It'll take a very long time to fill up at 2.5 per second. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Okay, next. That's cement. Next is concrete. As concrete. Cool. Very, 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 very simple setup here, except it needs water as water. And I didn't break that down. Okay. It needs to be near a place to dump the wastewater. Up here. Signals. Oh, and because I have the merging chests mod now, uh, I'm very unlikely to actually use bulk rail litters now. Since I will have my solution set in stone for making my train stations with the merged chests, fulfilling a very similar role. It they would be higher throughput, okay, and it would allow me to use fewer overall mini loaders. That would be the benefit, but it would require redesigning a lot of my factories to make use of them. Something that I'm very unlikely to actually do. Since they do take up a bit more space. It would mean I would not need chests at all on any further stations that I set up. Request and supply. But they're also going to be really expensive to build, so there's that too. Such a shame that it was set up that way. Right, come on, bots. Even with the 1 speed upgrade, they need to be faster. I need them to be faster. I need my level 2 bots. I need level 2 bots. I need speed. Lots and speed. Speed, speed, speed. Need my next level hanger as well. Hangers. Upgrades for even more active flying robots at a time. Need all the bots. All the bots will be mine. I need them to fly around. Probably. Oh, there you are. There you are. Hello. That's not the correct thing. the same thing. I want this thing. There we go. And the supply doohickey again. Ta-da! Supply, concrete. Depot, concrete. I should also have mortar here. The reason being is that it's the same input ingredients. Oh, right, lime gets added here, so it's one more station. Whoops, wrong spacing. And that'll let me do the lime. I am out of mini loaders. Great. Alright, restock time. Oh, locomotive. Because I also need to add another doohickey here. D mortar. Now the mortar is only useful in my mall. I'm pretty sure. Unless any of these things are used in tech. I'm uncertain if any of this stuff gets used in tech. I don't think any of this stuff is used in tech. Oh, there's a probe. So it's indirectly used for a probe at the very end of the game. And as far as I'm aware, crucibles are only in these items for infrastructure, and I think again, this is all just infrastructure. I'll have to, at some point, go through all of the technologies and break them down to see what the component parts are, just to see if mortar is among them for anything. I don't think so at this point, but we shall see. There's a few things that just exist for the mall that's better off done on trains. Ollie is snoring. The cat is snoring. All right, where are we? Go to the right. We need to go to the right. Hey, die. Ah, the starlings. Starlings are doing work. Hey, you. Get back there. Ah, da da. Yes, your snores. Mr. Snoring. Mr. Snoring. Yes, he's snoring. He's a snoring baby. He's my big Ollie, the big baby. Alright, give me... I really only need the mini litters, but I'll take everything else. That's a few things coming. That's a few things coming. I never really mentioned it, but I've I'm building empty fuel containers here. I've got a bunch of empty fuel containers. I put a request in here and ran a really long belt all the way down to the original methanol production, original methanol canisters off of lube. And I'm taking the filled canisters and just running them back to be accessible to my robots so I can always hold 500 on me, and it's just a request. What are we going to do after we beat Pi? Gee, I wonder. I wonder. I wonder whether or not the thing we're doing right now is the thing we're doing after Pi. And I don't even want to think about what we're doing after the next time we do Pi. And I have some thoughts about our next Pyandons run. I'm thinking our next Pyandons run is going to be, well, it's likely going to be some form of Pi block. It's probably going to be Pi block. We'll see what state it's in and whether or not that's actually going to be viable. But I would like to do Pi block. But what I would like to do is have it just be a no holds barred run where I'm gonna have all of the all of the module settings enabled from the start, such as well, not really all of them, but in particular, what I want from the start is productivity everything. That's what I want. I want to do a playthrough where everything is productive. Absolutely everything is productive, and play it through with that in mind, and see how much it really changes things actually going through the whole game. I guess specifically from the point you get modules on, with the ability to have productivity on every recipe. Which, hey, by the way, in case you were not aware, in Nullius, all of the infrastructure is productive. With a few exceptions for items that can convert back and forth. Those recipes that convert back and forth are not productive, so going from priority to surge electrolyzers, upgrading to surge electrolyzers, it's not productive because there's also a recipe to convert from surge to priority. So there's a recipe that goes back, and if you have both of those being productive, well, then you've got free stuff at some point. Where it would trivialize the costs by having that back and forth. So yeah, all of this infrastructure here, for the most part, it's all productive. You can have productivity on all this and all your belt. It's great, and the mod has been designed around this being a thing. AKA the productivity bonuses are a little on the low side overall, but you can do it on all of the steps in the chain. So it has been fundamentally designed where the productivity is available to basically everything, but the effects per step are relatively low. It's just that a lot of the processes have a lot of steps, so it adds up to be very significant. Anyway, I think we've gotten our restocking done at this point. So back we go. Thank you, bots. I wish you were faster at doing that restocking, but oh well. Gotta live with what we got. I'm probably not going to immediately put the request in at the mall for the mortar. Another thing to note. I've been a bit slow setting up the requests to the mall. And when I do put in the additional requests, that will be the point where I'll start going through my list of names of supporters and get them as added to my train stations at the mall. That will be something that will happen. We're just not quite there yet. Not enough requests to justify it quite yet. Gotta get all the names in. Ideally at around the same time. Don't want to have to keep going back and forth all the time to keep adding names each time I need to add something new. Okay, this is going to be supply mortar. I think I did the depot mortar already. Oh boy, alright, you are going to be requesting sand at concrete. Request cement. No, request gravel at concrete. Request cement at concrete. And request lime at concrete. Cool. Lime, cement, gravel, and sand. Oh boy. How do I want to arrange things? Let's put this here. Oops. Okay. There's my water. I'll do the concrete first. Okay, there's concrete infrastructure. Get the pipes in. Of course, I'm one tile down. Always gotta be one tile off. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the sand Ugh. Alright, ideally I have the sand and the cement on the same belt. But I guess it won't matter now, will it? No, I don't think it will. And the reason why it won't matter is because on the other side, where I have the one building, I'm just gonna have this. And it will output there. And there you go. Oh wow, you actually make more than one per second on that one building. And that is how simple it is to set up concrete and mortar. This is making 5 concrete. Is this even enough concrete for the chem science? No. Of course it's not. Why would it be enough? Alright then. Now what? That's what. Just extend it. Now we have 7. And it's fine. It's fine. We're good. We shall have enough. And let's define those. And we're done. Yay. Done with that. Next? What is next? What is next? Well, I think next up is the sodium hydroxide on the train network. Yeah, I think sodium hydroxide on the train network is the last thing. Then I have to worry about getting the other sciences on the train network and getting things like alumina on the train network. Yeah, alumina, and I need the polycrystalline silicon. So once we get the chem samples on the network, the next thing would be polycrystalline on the network, and then alumina as alumina on the network. That would involve having to scale up my caustic, but I'll work on scaling up the caustic between streams. For now, though, cough, hack, wheeze. We are doing sodium hydroxide, and I need to figure out where exactly I want this. Yeah. Because it needs to be near water. Huzzah, just near water. Great. Everything needs to be near water. This is why I'm playing on a map with water. At least until such time as I can make water anywhere. At which point I might be changing my map settings to turn off further spawning of water. Once I can get my water anywhere, I manually place it. That's a big iron. Okay, next. Yeah, sure, that's enough space between you. I need to think about where the next intersection is going to be. I think it's going to be way up there. Alright, buddies. Go do the stuffs. So this will be a pretty long or tall factory. Uh, there's some things here that I'm doing that may not be necessary. Yet I'm doing them anyway. So what I see here is that I am processing. Here's the full thing. What I see here is that I am processing all of the byproducts here. Oh goodness, why did you not? Okay. Guess it was black. Wasn't uncovered on the map. This doesn't require any inputs. It requires one input, and that is my alarm to indicate that I am, in fact, halfway through today's stream. Approximately. Unless someone extends the stream an hour. So, with that, and with us just now finishing up this train station before getting, like, anything else I might need here. I think I already have the one thing that I know that I need here. Yeah. When I come back, we're going to set this up, have sodium hydroxide onto the train network, and from there, I can immediately go and start setting up chemical samples, then move on towards getting the other sciences on the train network, which will start with the polycrystalline silicon and alumina that I will need, and from there, it's the first three, well, the first two and the fourth science, the automation, the mechanical prototypes, the uh, atmospheric samples. I think these are samples, and then the electrical prototypes. Getting those three, because I already have. Like, this one's mechanical, isn't it? What's the name of the first one? No, that's mechanical. I already have the right, the mineral samples. Right. We need to make the minerals. I have the mechanicals. We need minerals and climate samples. Blah. Blah. Whatever. It's time to take a break. I'll be back in a few minutes. And I have returned. Welcome back. Ah, see if I can sit up just a little bit straighter. There's Ollie. Oh, big yawn. Big yawn for the boy. Yes, big yawn. Big baby. He's sleepies. He's sleepies. Dolly is under my bed, of course, as she has been spending a lot of time lately as a new routine for her in the morning, early afternoon and such. She'll go and she'll rest under my bed and be all comfy and happy. And then she'll come out later once it's time to eat, or once she thinks it's time to eat, of course. Even if it's not. So I'm just giving myself a little bit of space here to work with. I just need some water. Some water access, and ideally some shoreline-ish to work with. Straight shoreline would be great. Alright, let's get stuff going on here. So I need to request limestone at NaOH. Need to supply my NaOH. And have my dippo for the NaOH. Yes, I need the stuff. This doohickey. Put it there, put the thing on the wire. Have the same thing, just reversed. That's my supply. Oh, now he's getting pretty, huh? Limestone. Okay. I can copy and paste. The whole thing? Am I doing this? Yes. 1, but not 3. 1 and not 3. Am I doing this with the hydro plant? Yeah. 2. Seawater into saline. Yep, seawater to saline. Saline to brine and water. And in this it's 2, 2. And 3. 2, 2, and 3. Right, because this is producing hydrogen chloride. From brine. So I think I can just copy this whole thing. I said this would be tall, right? I did say that this would be tall, yes? That's just all the voiding stuff will go out the other side. Go to the left rather than to the right. It should all be flipped, but you can't flip these buildings in the blueprint. So, oh well. It'll just look a little funky. And I don't need this many of these. Or these. Okay. I need 3 of this. but only 2 of you. That's hydrogen chloride from the chlorine and hydrogen. Yes, I do have the water behind it with a relief valve. Relief valve does not need to go that way. For the water, relief valve is going to be voiding over here if I need to void what extra water. Looks like looks like I don't have extra water from this, so don't have to worry about that. What I have extra of, actually, not water, but brine. I have extra brine. So my relief valve here is actually going to output to stuffs. To stuffs and things. This is seawater in. And this is seawater in. Okay. So where's my seawater coming in? See the water. Alright, I've seen the water. Alright, that is producing brine and water. The water does need to connect to something. Where are you connecting? To you. Hold up. What's going on here? Do I void water as water? Oh, that uses a full 160. It uses all of it. Between the 2 buildings here. Okay. I now know. And then wastewater. What's the wastewater line? Guess this is my line now. Whoopsies. Maybe it's not my line now. Voiding of wastewater. How much wastewater are we getting rid of? More than 100. Great. It has been pointed out, I should discuss this a little bit. It's been pointed out that heavy water processing exists. AKA nuclear exists, but I'm thinking more of in terms of there's going to be other things besides nuclear that's going to require deuterium and tritium. Yeah, so heavy water to make deuterium and tritium comes from wastewater. We'll need to do like the enriched uranium processing and like for multi-tool 3, and then that's going to get used as an ingredient for the fission cells. I think get used as ingredients for antimatter traps, matter traps for quantum coprocessors, for Android 2 for probes. But anyway, so fusion and breeder cells Yeah, that's gonna, and for antimatter traps, that's all gonna be requiring this stuff, this wonderful stuff, and this wonderful stuff known as heavy water. This wonderful stuff known as heavy water, there's some biotic processes to get into it, but the basic process is 750 wastewater into 500 saline and 1 heavy water and 75 sludge, which can reprocess into additional wastewater. 750 to 1. Just gonna point out, 750 to 1. The intent, as far as I'm aware, is that you are supposed to take all of the wastewater that you're producing as byproduct throughout your entire base and centralize a location to put said wastewater to do this processing in for heavy water. This is not something I'm going to do. I said that last time, the first time I did through this. I'm going to say it again. I am not going to go through and redo everything in my base to add a whole bunch of trains to move a whole bunch of wastewater and eat up a whole bunch of train throughput on my train network, on my rail system. That is not going to happen ever. No, I'm going to, when I need wastewater, I'm going to build wastewater, a factory producing wastewater where its sole purpose is to process the wastewater into heavy water. I'll be making wastewater. Now, how do you make wastewater, like bespoke wastewater? Uh well, there is this and this and this. So, yeah, and then there's also, seawater filtration. By the point in the game that you will have access to this, you'll be able to build water fill. So, this also exists where you can just process seawater into wastewater and saline, and you can actually dump the saline directly back into water. Or you could do fresh. It doesn't really matter. It's just you're still going to be dumping primary product. This is what I did the first time, but I think maybe doing seawater sand directly into only waste is potentially better for higher throughputs, but since it's 200 per second, with a hydro plant too, 200 wastewater a second per building for sand. I mean, you'll still have to get the sand. That's the only problem, is that you'll have to get the sand, and it will produce slag, or gravel slash mineral dust. Yeah, that could be a problem, dealing with that at the amount of wastewater that we need. But anyway, point stands. I'm going to have a bespoke wastewater setup. It'll just be a thing designed specifically for doing that thing, getting that stuff. Anyway, I think I'm done here. Am I? No, not really, because I have excess brine. I need to add another doohickey to clear excess brine. And what else? That's for the brine, that's for the wastewater. I'll need it for the actual calcium chloride solution. Just the one? Just the one. Barely just the one, but still just the one. Let's see, what else to think about? I need 3 of these. Barely, but that's good. It's good. It's good. Yes, I need the crushed limestone. This number is a number that is greater than 3.75, actually, so you need to be different. And then here, it's 1 and 1 still, so that's fine, but I do need 2 flotation cells. Because apparently you make... Yeah, pop your head. You make 3 and this can't process 3 each? Yeah. Mr. Snores. Yeah, breathing, snoring. Snoring even while awake. And is it one of these still, or is it 2 of these? It is 1 of these. Okay. I think I've got all the stuff here that I need all set up and ready to go. Okay, so then it's this. Oh right, I need the brine. I need the brine up here. And I need the hydrogen here, chlorine. To there, power to the everything, and outputs. Okay. That should just work. Just so long as I've got stuff going on here. And so that's going to go and that's going to process the mineral dust, preferentially. The byproduct mineral dust. And this is just going to keep processing until this gets full, and then it's going to process it into calcium chloride solution. And everything is awesome. Everything is just awesome. And magnificent. Cool. Get into box. Get into box. It will be the exact same process for making additional caustic. Except the caustic needs more water, basically. That's the only real difference. Is that 1 extra step to convert into caustic will require additional water. Though theoretically, this doesn't have to be necessarily tied together between these two. I could just have my factory producing infinity sodium hydroxide and just make the caustic wherever I need the caustic as caustic. But no, I'm going to have bespoke separate factories for these. Okay, next step is making the chemical samples. And I think they're just gonna be here. Okay, chem science. chemical samples. It's a few steps that are fortunately all productive, save for one. This is going to require quite a few requester stations, including a couple of fluids. The one thing I don't necessarily like about this is that it doesn't give us back our barrel for the ammonia. But if it did that, then it's harder for the productivity. There's a way that it won't work on the barrels, but yeah, you have to make sure that the main product is defined so that the productivity will only happen on the defined main product. It's been done in the Pi suite, being able to have things that are set to not be affected by productivity on the recipe. Certain catalysts, aka barrels and cages. They've done it for Pi. I don't see why they couldn't do it for this as well, to return our barrel and have it not be affected by productivity gains. Oh boy, that's a mighty dense sandstone that unfortunately needs to die. And, bauxite. Okay, how many inputs do we have? Solid and fluid. A few. A few! It is a few. And it's sorted between solids and liquids. It's not all mixed. So we have 3 fluids, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 solids. Oh, joy. Oh, bliss. 9 solids. 1. Fine, whatever. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fluids. One. Excuse me. 1. A 2. A 3. So just a few things. Bots. Gotta be careful with the chargers. Gotta make sure to always pick up my bots when they're trying to charge, because I don't want them draining my buffer electricity in these hangars. I only carry around 10 at a time of those requester stations, so I'll need to head back and restock so I can actually place down everything that I need here. Okay. You annoy me, Crystal Rock. How's power doing? It's pretty high. I need to always make sure that my sterlings are enough that I have enough sterlings for the total production here to cover it when it's periods of 0 power from the wind turbines. Alright, head on over, get my restock going. So this process here will require making a bit of infrastructure, which is rather unfortunate, because, I mean, it's not like it's going to be worth having these infrastructure pieces provided onto the train network. That's, like, not going to happen. So I'm left with having to do it by hand, or having to do it local, and have all the ingredients brought in to make all these tanks and such, just to get empty barrels to spend on this. Like, if it just returned the empty barrels, can you imagine how much neater this build would be? It would just be the last step and the barreling machine, the barreling pump. That would be it. But no, we need to do all of these other things so we can spend empty barrels on this science. Speaking of barrel pumps, bring me barrel pumps. But hey, at least I don't need to bring barrels, because we'll be making them. It's also an absurd amount of concrete for a chemical sample compared to all of the other ingredients. Like, the concrete is absolutely insane. Also, why the hell... excuse me. Excuse me, but, 2 of you. Yeah, 2 of you-y. Reduce my ingredient inputs ever so slightly by another 3%. 3 entire %. Alright, are we good? I think we're close enough. Because I'm pretty sure as long as I got my requester train stops, we're fine. I'm just trying to top up on my rail, of which I'm mostly topped up now. I think I request 5k. Which I now have. Let's get going. Time to make some chem samples. Not like anything really changes the moment I get these chem samples, because I don't really have a place that's getting science to process the science, that's requesting the science. So, yeah, still a bit of time. But I do want to focus my attentions, once we do this, on setting up those the other sciences that we have that are using recipes that we haven't done yet. The mineral sample 2 recipe and the atmospheric sample 2 recipe. Getting those done probably first, I think, would be ideal. And then doing the polycrystalline silicon for the other stuff is not so much on the agenda. Because that I can do between streams to get the polycrystalline silicon and getting the electrical samples set up. That I can do between streams, but it would unfortunately mean that I would be starting to process science before we stream on Tuesday. And I have to, like, pay attention to checkpoints because, yeah, if I take sulfur processing 2, this checkpoint will immediately resolve, right? And I want to make sure that the checkpoints happen on stream while streaming, even if it's very quick at the beginning of the stream. So I do need to be pretty careful, because if I take Metallurgy 3 to unlock these better furnaces, well, yeah, pretty sure that I immediately clear all 3 of these checkpoints just the moment Metallurgy 3 happens. So it's like, okay, well, what do I do? What do we do? Because, like, nothing... Alright, that's useful. I can't get to here because of the soda ash analysis. Great. Great. Fantastic. Sodium stuff happens. Iron smelting 3 happens, but is not available. This unlocks a thing, so I can't take this. I can take 1 entire attack, or 2 entire attacks, excuse me. Oh boy. Oh joy, oh bliss. Yeah, it just means that we'll get to, we'll do things together. We'll do more stuff together. Because I will... essentially, I will only set up the factory to actually start processing the chemical samples on Tuesday. That's what I will end up doing. So I won't take any science techs between now and the next time we meet, even though I will have access to chem samples, and even though I will be setting up the remaining factories that I will need in order to actually process the science between streams to finish that process. Even though I will have it all ready to go, I'm not going to do it without streaming it to actually have it all be online, because I want the checkpoints to happen together. Okay, so one... Okay, that throughput is laughable. It's just really weird that they couldn't add the extra input port for the ammonia. It's like, this screams port limited, but it's not actually port limited. So it's like, oh, okay, well, what's going on then? If you're not port limited, then what are you limited by? Da 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 da. Request. Sulfuric at chem samples. Request lube at chem samples. Request ammonia at chem samples. Ta-da. Okay, that's all the fluids requested. One, two. Come on down, ammonia. Or up, I should say. Come on up. Okay. Do this and out. In. From 2 ingredients. Great. That'll be you. You need rubber, pipe 2, and steel sheet. You also need pipe 2 and steel sheet. So next will be this guy. One item. One item that can be direct fed. Not that. That. Direct feed. 5 ingredients, including 1 direct feed. You are the only thing taking regular pipe. Right, pipe 2s. Steel rod, steel sheet, plastic. I'm thinking plastic plus pipe 2s. Steel and rubber. Steel sheet plus rubber. Weirdness. Weirdness. Weirdness, weirdness, weirdness. Go there. Anyway, steel rods. Does anything other than this need those steel rods? Not really. Usually I would have steel rods plus the steel sheets. But in this case I would also need the rubber. Buh. Buh. Hmm? Hmm. Well, at the bottom. Start with steel rods. And we'll work our way from there. Alright, steel rods. Come on down. Next. That'll make the pipes. I will also need the steel rods for something else. I'll need the steel rods here. Steel rods will split and combine with the steel sheets, I guess? And then we'll have steel rod plus steel sheet. And we'll have pipe plus plastic. Steel rod, steel sheet. Steel sheet. Rubber. Rubber in. Steel sheet in. Plastic in. So, plastic. Not plastic. That's blah. Steel sheets. Plastic. Rubber. Okay. Next is iron rod plus iron sheet. Okay, that solves that little niggling issue. Our iron rods at chem samples. Our iron sheets at chem samples. Iron rods. Iron sheets. Steel rod, steel sheet, plastic. Pipe. Medium tank 1. Pipe, iron rod, iron sheet, iron rod, iron sheet. You just take in those, and that's the small ones. That'll be pipe 2, rubber, and sheets. That'll be the two things there. That will be the ammonia barrels, and then it's just sodium hydroxide, concrete, and glass. Oh boy. I did not define the sodium hydroxide, did I? Nope. Why would I do that? Inserters would be nice. It's low enough throughput per building that it's fine to have this on the outside, but, you know, just for my own preference, because of my own preference, the highest throughput items should be closer. Game, there you go. Oh boy, now it should all just work like magic. Ideally. There you go, making small tanks. There you go, making empty barrels, 5 at a time. That's barreling the ammonia. Okay, so we're just now waiting on our deliveries of glass and the other stuff. Did I not define glass? I did. So what's happening at the glass? Why no glass? I know I'm making glass. Oh, right, that would help. Don't know how much gets made at glass. Oops. Whoopsies. Oh, it's 16. Only needed 1. Pfft, not 3, but it just clears the pipes out faster, at least. Give all the glass. The glass should just come. And the sodium hydroxide has also died for whatever reason. Why did you die? Because you're full on hydrogen chloride. Why are you full on hydrogen chloride? Because you're full on hydrochloric. Why are you full on hydrochloric? Ah. Because pipe distance is a thing. And the seawater wasn't connected to get rid of the sludge here. So with that fixed, everything should move again. As the stone gets processed. Created first chemical sample at 90 hours and 50 minutes. glorious and beautiful chemical samples now exist. I could manually go and toss some into my existing labs, but no. I'm not gonna. What would the tech be? The first tech that I would take? This one. Like, duh. Should I have just manually? It's 200 seconds per cycle. It's 200 cycles at 30 seconds per cycle. And I have 6 labs. $800 seconds. 13 minutes. I think I'm gonna do it, if only so that I have access to the furnaces, the upgraded furnaces, because that actually changes quite a bit, just having those furnaces. That improves my productivity by 3% on a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, that's how I can think of it. So, yeah, I'm just gonna take those chem samples and I'm gonna run down because I'm too far to. I am too far away at the moment to place this into those labs. But as long as I have 200 on me, it should be fine. To just go ahead and grab them. Then when I get closer, it will eventually let me. Not yet. There it goes. Science is moving. And it should have enough chemical samples to get there through this tech. Yes, because it's one for everything. Okay, I'm going to go and restock because that used quite a bit of resources. Oh boy. Thank you, bots. Next up, we're going to set up the new recipe on the mineral samples, as well as the new recipe for the climate samples. So the mineral samples I have here. And we're doing this. Now, I'll note that everything to make this new mineral sample that does this new mineral sample recipe is old. So there's nothing new here besides the actual. It's a different way of combining ingredients. But we will do this. We will do this. It will use up everything and have no byproducts. Yeah, there will be straight up no byproducts here left over. So it'll be an interesting use of stuff. Oh. Bah. Do I really need it? Do I really really, really need it? No, I don't need to do that here. I don't need to do that there. I will bring in mineral dust, fresh mineral dust, because I'm already doing that in the mall. Not in the mall. In a bespoke factory producing mineral dust for this very purpose. Okay, so it's for this purpose that I have that mineral dust, so I will make it available, just like I have sand that is available. I'll bring in mineral dust, I'll bring in sand, I'll bring in limestone, I'll bring in bauxite, and we will make mineral samples by doing processing here. And we're just offsetting the cost of the mineral dust and the sand. Okay, question is, where shall I do this? As usual, that's always the question. Where to do this? So I am mining here, and I'm not providing iron ore on the train network. Right. So this will have to be next to an iron ore patch. So I will do this here. Actually, here. Yes, this will do. Alright, let's do this. Gib. Place the rail. Wish this was faster, but oh well. At least this isn't as bad as the initial Nullius series, which I very specifically remember having to, before I did my recordings, pre-build all of the train stations for the factories that I was planning. I've made 1,000 of them already. I've made 1,000 chemical samples. It's glorious. You can't see it because the cat is in the way. There, 1,000. It only took 8 minutes. Less than 8 minutes, and we have 1,000. We'll need enough labs to process 2 per second of all of the sciences. That's the other thing is, yeah, we'll need a train station to bring in sciences and process said sciences. There we go. Okay, do I still have my copy of the thing? Yes. Ah, itchy, 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 itchy. Okay. Oh, now he's more comfy. He's more comfies. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Chargers. Don't charge. I don't need you charging. No. Go away. Stop. Process. Okay. Doesn't matter what's what. Don't think so. Oh right, I don't need one. Buh. I don't need the last one. We're mining our iron local. We're also like right next to sandstone as well, so there's that too. That I probably won't need. I'll need bauxite. I'll need mineral dust, and I'll need sand. Oh, there's bauxite there too. So I'll need limestone. And then I'll just mine all the rest that I need. Like, I don't see a reason why not to. Is this the large? No, good. Hmm. Ta-da! Okay. Processing of the things. Crush the iron first. No. Stone. Yeah, leave it there. What else makes stone? This one makes stone. That's the only stone, so stone to gravel. 2 mineral dust. Then I guess the bauxite. So the tricky thing with this one is that I'll need to have the crushed coming up of the crushed iron. I'll filter crushed bauxite and then filter sand. Input priority left. Input priority left. Up another tile because I have to jump here. That's the sand input. Mineral dust comes out. There. Goes up. And again, with that. That goes up. This comes out. And goes up. 1. One, two, three, four, 5. I am out of belt. Woohoo. Belt. 1 whole belt. Great. As I was saying, a little limited on a few things. I do not have infinite resources. Not quite yet. We're not quite there yet. Oh right, the sandstone. Do I not need sandstone at all? Oh. Well, there's that. Okay. I don't need sandstone because I'm already bringing in sand. I don't need to make sand here. Why would I need to make sand here? That's a whole bunch of red belt. That's a whole bunch of red belt. Thanks. That I have to manually go and grab, but still. Oh, it's red belt. It's all red belt. Give me my belt back. All of it. All my belt. Give back. Give back belt. It's my belt. Get back inside to recharge. All 3 checkpoints immediately completed. Propene utilization, crushed iron utilization, and aluminum carbide utilization. All immediately finished. As I knew would happen immediately. So, there was another checkpoint that I was worried about after sulfur processing to do all this stuff, which includes a different way of getting soda ash already. There's also pyrolysis. Which allows you to make exclusively benzene without having to get rid of stuff. Well, you can vent methane without having to combust it, and since this makes ethylene and benzene, you could then pyrolyze ethylene into methane, propene, benzene. Propene pyrolyzes down, and you can just convert effectively into just benzene with this process. And you could, of course, convert that methane into graphite and hydrogen if you so desired. I don't think I would so desire, but still, it's a thing. And monocrystalline silicon will be available. Great. Oh yeah, and then titanium's coming. Oh god, titanium's coming. Oh God, titanium is coming. Uh, hmm. Humma. Humma. I think besides soda ash analysis, there's no other breakpoint to worry about. Checkpoint to worry about. What checkpoints are there? There's this one to produce 100 batteries. That won't happen. Let's see. There's this one that's not gonna happen until after the batteries. Monocrystalline requires making it, so that's not going to happen. Boxing isn't going to happen. Explosives is not going to happen. Consuming scout drones won't happen. That could happen, but it's way further down behind checkpoints. That's not. Place 4 relay 2s. Alright, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not. I say not going to happen as in it's not. I can't accidentally take that, have it happen. It won't just automatically finish when it becomes available. I would need to go out of my way to do it, so there's no accidental anything that would happen there. Okay, and I think that's all of the green checkpoints that remain. Chem sample checkpoints that are there that exist. So outside of this one, that I'll need to grab. I'm probably way too far to manually, reach out there. I'm gonna do that like now so that that can process, but there's not enough time left in the stream, I think, to finish those 2 techs. Which is infuriating. I'm gonna do this now, and I'm gonna put down additional labs to make it happen faster. Because I'm pretty sure as soon as I get access to that checkpoint, it will just happen. Which will mean that between streams going into Tuesday, of which we'll have, there's multiple days there, it will mean that you just stop. Oh no, you're not stopped. Okay. Don't get run over. Am I too far away? Probably. Apparently not. Labs. Pretty sure I'm making them. Really? Really? I can build there and yet I can't place them? Uh, Hello? Oh, yeah, because this goes 10,000, 100,000, and this goes 1. So I just need to get a little closer. Hey, I made 10,000 mineral samples. Oh yeah, we don't have cat. 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 Cat, return, please. Get in there. Go fast. Go fast, please. Okay. I would have liked to get to the other sample, but you know what? I'll just do it between streams. Screw it. So the other sample for atmospheric samples, or climate samples, excuse me. This is just bring in volcanic gas, wastewater, and nitrogen, aka make wastewater. So it's extremely simple to set that up. There's nothing necessarily that's like new there. Power, power, power. Alright, that's the mineral samples. Ta-da, huzzah, and all that good stuff. Okay. That is done. I should define my sciences. I have mineral samples, I have mechanical prototypes that I did between streams, and I have chemical samples now. Alright, so obviously the plan between streams will be to get the climate samples and the electrical prototypes on my train network, and get a factory that will be the labs, my science lab zone. Okay, the science is moving. Hopefully we actually have gotten 1,000 soda ash produced. I'm 100% certain that we have produced 1,000 soda ash. Yeah, 1,000% certain that we have done that thing. And as for from there, what happens? Obviously, I'm going through chemical science techs right now. I will be blocked at some point by checkpoints that will not automatically happen, right? Since this next one is the last one that will just happen without me having to really do anything. I'll be getting as many techs as I can, leading up to the next checkpoints, and those checkpoints will guide what we do in our next streams as we work to complete those checkpoints, right? However, I will gain access to additional infrastructure, glorious, beautiful infrastructure, like these brand new medium furnace 2s. Yes, glorious medium furnace 2s. And apparently small furnace 3s. So I'm going to set this up now. You need exactly 6. Okay, that's everything. And you'll eat those. I have everything but those, so that'll just happen naturally. Medium furnace 2s are bigger. They have crafting speed 2 versus this, which has crafting speed 1 on the small furnace 3. There is no reason whatsoever for me to use a small furnace 3 when the with the medium furnace 2 being, twice as fast, despite being a little bit bigger. I'd rather have the fewer, faster buildings that happen to be bigger than multiple smaller buildings, more smaller buildings. Just from performance perspective, it will always be better to have fewer entities, regardless of the amount of space that they consume. So that is that. Key thing is that I'm not going to be doing anything involving new processes. I've made 10,000 electrical prototypes apparently at this point in time. 10k electrical prototypes. There they are. There they are. Now I bring back Kitty. Pretty Kitty. I need this tech to finish. Apparently it won't finish within the next minute because I don't have enough of the other techs, of the other packs, I guess, or it's just so freaking stupidly slow to actually do the processing. Great. Bacon? Bacon. Bacon. The crispiest and juiciest of bacon. Bacon! Bacon, yes. Bacon. Go faster. Oh, yeah, I could yield them, but I need speed more than I need productivity, honestly. Go faster. Go faster. Too bad it won't let me just swap out the things. I have to actually be there to open up the thing and manually remove them. Ideally, I would have yield in all of it and then beacons to offset the speed reduction. Because these should be 1.2 baseline, and you can see without... None of these beacons are actually beaconing the things. Why did it not? I'm sorry, but that's straight up a bug that got introduced at some point. That's so wrong. That's so wrong. It's supposed to automatically pick it up, and yet it's not. Anyway, regardless, the tech happened. Checkpoint complete soda ash analysis. There it is. We did the thing. Checkpoint annihilated. I'm gonna make use of infrastructure. I'm gonna have a look at some of this maybe, but there's gonna be eventually blockage behind something that I'll have to do things for. Not going to do new processes. Ideally, exception of course, probably here and the aluminum for basic metal processing. That's the exception I usually do is when there's new processing of metals. I will probably do that off screen, but we should at least look at it together next time. I don't think I'm going to take time out of my way to go and adjust to iron oxide stuff, especially since it's going to start using crushed limestone and will produce lime that needs to die somehow. You know, that's going to be that I will swap. This absolutely I will swap for the better processing recipes here, and probably steel too. Iron ingot plus lime equals crushed limestone. I see. Okay, that's the thing. That is the thing. That is the way. That is the way. Yeah. Oh yeah, lime into crushed limestone with CO2. That is needed too. Okay. Oh boy. But generally speaking, brand new stuff, processes to make brand new stuff we will do together. And new processes of making stuff that we already have, that I'll more likely do off screen. With that though, we've reached the end of the stream. And as far as I'm aware, we're not streaming an extra hour today. So, with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Ataka Show, and if you've enjoyed today's stream where we have made chemical samples, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting the great big blue join button and supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/AtakaShow. But if you are so inclined and able, I will be back on Tuesday as we move into the chemical sample phase of the game, the beginning of the next phase of the game. I hope to see you all then.